right, so we're back at the hen. Alright, so we're back at the tree stand. Haven't been here in over a week and a half almost. I don't think, yeah, almost a week and a half. Was at the farm earlier. Here. It's a squirrel. I already heard some running around. I saw a really nice buck on the way in a cut cornfield. Really high and tall. So the bucks are out in that area. Hoping some will be out here. Down that way, I did catch a couple of doe that were feeding in a yard. So we'll sit here and wait. Looks like the path's been taken a little bit down here. Looks like it's been moved down from back behind the tree stand. The wind's not supposed to kick up until midday. So, if I see anything, we'll start filming. Roll call 219 here. We're gonna get out the old boba. We're gonna get out the old Boba Fett koozie and take a good old swig. That's what I'm talking about. Well, channel members know. Now you guys are gonna know. I tagged out this morning. It was a pretty wild hunt, like all the hunts have been this year. And I'll leave you with a couple of tips for either novice hunters, people that are beginning, or if you're still having trouble filling a tag. And then the number one thing I could say is weather. Weather plays a major role in deer movement. I don't care what people say about their little sundial calendars or moon calendars. Weather is your key. It can either be your friend or your foe, just as quick. So hunt weather. Don't rely on some old wives' tale. Hunt weather. Cold fronts. Cold fronts are the number one thing I hunt, and I shoot deer in cold fronts. I just shot a deer this morning in the cold front. The one thing deer have to do is move. They have to get energy, but they also have to burn energy. And the energy that they burn, they have to replace that energy from eating nuts, berries, or whatever's left since all the fields are cut. You know, they're scraping and scrounging right now. Hunt the weather. Don't rely on wives' tales. Number 2, scent control. Scent control. These are partially wild animals. You know, some have a lot of interaction with humans, some don't. Regardless of what you think. You know, depending on your area, regardless, if they don't like the smell, they're not going to come there. Scent control. And number 3 is take the time to do your spot up that you're hunting. I mean, if you're only hunting public land, I get it. Trust me, I hunted public land this year, and I do not like hunting public land. I mean, yeah, you could probably shoot a good buck or doe out of that, but man, it is so frustrating at times hunting public land. That's why I didn't hunt public land for the rest of the year. It's just too much. So there's some little keys, and I'll throw another one in here, and I cannot stress this enough. If you have a private parcel of land, regardless of the acreage, I'm hunting half acre. I'm hunting a half of acre. This is where I'm shooting some deer at. A half acre at times. Put stuff in these spots that deer like. Food plots, grasses, cover, you name it. Put stuff in there they like. Look at your surrounding areas. Don't be like me this year. I gave them too much of an option, but give them options. Give them a reason to come back. Give them a reason to stay around. When you do this and you give them these options and you give them this cover, you give them a water hole, you give them a food plot, they'll come back. And then it's game on. If you do not maintain that stuff, if you do not go through the troubles and trials and tribulations that I have this year, putting the time since spring to the point we sit now of amping up my spot to keep deer on that property, you're probably going to go through the heartaches and pains of not seeing a lot of deer or any deer at all at times. The majority of times that I've went out, I've seen deer. I got videos to prove it. The majority of times I've come out, I've seen deer. The only bad thing is I was competing with bean fields, corn fields, soybean fields, you name it. That was hay fields, alfalfa. There's a lot of options on the table for these deer, loading up to the point where, we started hitting the winter months, until those cornfields and all that stuff gets cut down. It was tough. But now that stuff has gone away, hay's gone dormant along with alfalfa, nowhere else for these guys to go but to where food is. And that's why my tree stand is by an acorn tree. A big oak acorn tree, man, because those things will be dropping. They'll be scavenging, foraging, and bada bing, bada boom. I don't know how much I can tell you guys about this, but it's been a struggle. There's still people out there, people personally I know that are struggling, and I'm going to try and help them out as much as possible with whatever their endeavor is to make what last of the season that they have left. This is not easy. This is not easy tagging deer. I don't care what YouTube video you show where somebody sits out there and shoots a deer right off the get-go. Does that happen? Yes, it will happen. But again, there's a lot of tinkering to make that process happen. I'm hunting deer that are traveling miles back and forth to get to what they need to do. And then sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. But with all the stuff and all the preparation I did this year, they kept on coming back. And that's why I've had good luck and other people haven't. I can't stress that enough. And to close this thing out, man, I'd really like to thank my family. Honestly, I really, those folks, Cindy, the kids, everybody's really put up with my frustrations, my, going out every morning, coming back every midday, going back out for the evening hunts. It's been a lot of pressure, and Cindy's had to kind of hold down the fort a little bit, but she knows it's going to be benefiting. We don't go to the store for proteins, folks. I mean, unless I catch a good deal on a steak, we're not buying stuff from the grocery store other than, drinks and, a little bit of sides. Everything else is strictly what I hunt and what I bring home, whether it be rabbit, whether it be squirrel. I mean, we have those occasions where we go out to dinner, don't get me wrong, but the majority of the home-cooked meals, man, are with wild game, and it's so beneficial. I know what these deer are eating. Nobody is making sludge in a factory and trying to force it down my throat. I know exactly what is going on. And so, without their support, without their understanding that I'm doing this to benefit us, it would never happen. It would never happen. And I'm so grateful for Cindy and her just, giving me the encouragement to not give up. Because there's times where I was like, this ain't never going to happen. But again, you have times like the first day of deer season, I shot a deer. That's the first time I've ever done it since I've been hunting. Is shot a deer on opening day. And it's gratitude. It's gratitude because those deer were coming back to the plots that I put on. And I knew they were going to come back there. I knew which way they were going. I knew where they were probably going to come into. Had a good general, consensus. And bada bing, bada boom again. It's just those things. Deer are sometimes unpredictable, but they're predictable because they're animals and they make mistakes. These deer make mistakes. Case in point. So again, I'd like to thank everybody that's helped me through this, whether it's been Sean the researcher last year coming through, let me use his bow after mine broke. And then you have his dad. Oh man, I'm gonna have to buy him another Christmas gift. But he's been really solid through this year's hunting season, and he's had a tough season as well. But I'm telling you, without that core, this isn't gonna happen. And I want to thank everybody for being patient with me. And last but not least is you. You guys have watched my boring ass hunting videos. I know I'm not the greatest cameraman. You didn't get to see the shot today, and didn't quite get to see the recovery because I wanted to grab that deer and go. It was cold. It was a long haul. That we hauled that deer out, and it was longer hauling the deer out than it was finding the deer. All right, so if that puts you in a consensus of what we did this morning, but I don't know what else to say. I love being outdoors. I think it's great for the channel. If you look at YouTube, all the doom and gloomers, they can sit there and doom and gloom, and then I'll eat a nice piece of backstrap while they're crying about nonsense. And then we can get on here now with what we normally do. I have something in the works for a live show, and we'll be back live on the air here coming up. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of good things that are going to be coming next year, and I want you to be a part of it. I hope you're a part of it. This channel ain't for everybody, but for the people that have stuck here since day one, my old subscribers, love you guys and gals, and my new subscribers, you guys and gals, really do appreciate all of you folks, and just the people that zip through and watch the video. That's awesome too. So I hope you learned a lot this year from what I could show you, and I hope next year's a very successful season for you. If you're having a crummy one, or if you had a good one, I hope you have a good one next year. Again, with all that being said, I'd like to thank you, my old subscribers, my new subscribers, just the people that zip on through. I greatly do appreciate it. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithms. We've really gotten a boost. I'm telling you, it really helps out. And like always, we'll catch you next hunting season.